Baba Shuaib, the correctional officer, born in Accra, Ghana, a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion, who does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran on platforms such as Facebook, YouTube and TikTok since 2018. In Finland, and 13 years, QBE, in Classical Arabic and MSA in Quranic Arabic. The author of the Refer to the Quran, which helps every novice to understand the steps towards understanding the Great Quran and the guidance of God in it.
Time to rise and meet the challenge. Baba Shuaib is calling you out. Meet Baba Shuaib, a correctional officer with a mission. Today he's throwing down the gauntlet to the mushriks, no more holding back. With his logo shirt and cap, Baba Shuaib sits tall and confident. He says, the time for action is now. It's time to rise, to push past limits, and to become the best versions of ourselves. Baba Shuaib believes in the power of determination and resilience. His challenge is simple. Stand up, face your fears, and conquer them. Every day is a new opportunity, he says. An opportunity to grow stronger, to be better, and to leave a mark on the world. So, are you ready to accept Baba Shuaib's challenge? Are you ready to rise above and beyond? Join Baba Shuaib and let's show the world what we're made of, because the only limit is the one you set for yourself. Time to
a Sunni scholar. He was speaking Hausa language. Right, one time, some of the brothers asked me to speak about this video, but I thought it wasn't befitting. But I thought the second, I'm like, yeah, I need to speak about this video so that you people will get to know how these scholars have been fooling you for years. It's like you need to learn how to think outside the box. When you are part of any Islamic sect, of course, God does not allow any sectarianism, but regardless, people will do it. It's just like when you tell people to stop smoking, people will still smoke, right? So these sectarian religions, if you're part of them, start to apply your brains, start to put factory resets, and start to apply reasoning when you are listening to the scholars, when they are speaking, right? So I'm going to show you something, a video from a scholar from Nigeria. He was speaking about a snake and what he's asking you to do for the snake. So listen to the video. I'm going to put a video here, and I will break it down. I will explain to you in Hausa language, right? So then you get to know what the video is about. So let me put the video. It's a very ridiculous statement, but check out.
In ka ga maciji a gidanka, kar ka yi gaggawan kashe shi. Ka ce masa bawan Allah, in kai na kirki ne ka bar gidan nan, ba gidan zaman ku bane, nan gidan mutane ne. Ka yi masa wa'azi. Hadisi ya zo cikin al-Adabul Mufrad, Imam al-Bukhari ya kawo haka. Ko wani abu ka gani kawai a gidanka, kamar ka ga kare kawai a cikin gidanka, shi ma kai masa wa'azi, ka ce bawan Allah ka fita ka bar gidan nan. A yi masa haka kwana ɗaya, kwana biyu, uku, in ya wuce wannan to shedani ne. Wani bawan Allah yana gaya mu wata rana, ya ce abin mamaki a unguwarsu manya-manyan gidaje ne masu get. Yawanci gidajen nan da tile da interlock a gidajen. Ya ce wata rana kawai ya fito gidansa, a get ɗin gidansa sai ya ga wani ƙaton maciji, kumurci ƙato. Ya ce bai taɓa ganin maciji babba irin wannan ba. Yana ƙoƙarin shiga ta get ya fita. Ya ce to ni ko yaya aka yi, mu dai ba daji ba ne da mu anan, kuma ba wani abu ne da mu da yake zai iya ɓoye maciji ba anan, mu ku a ina daga ina macijin nan ya zo. To jefo shi aka yi, ni kuma na rufe ƙofar gidana. To da yake mai karatu ne, mai ilimi ne, sai ya masa wa'azi, ya ce bawan Allah, don Allah ka yi haƙuri ka fita daga gidan nan, kar ka cutar da mu. Sai ga macijin nan sadaf yana ta nema ta ƙarƙashin gate zai iya wucewa, kaurinsa ya yi yawa. Sai can ya samu gindin fulawa ɗin nan, irin fulawa ɗin nan, sai ya shiga, akwai wata hanya sulum, sai ya fita. Yana wucewa sai gashi ya tsallaka, ya shiga ta kwata, ya tafi abin sauransu. To kin ga da zai je tinkari wannan macijin ya ce zai kashe, wataƙila wani aljanin ne ya yi kansa shi ma ya kashe shi.
Okay. So this scholar was speaking Hausa language. He's from Nigeria. And I'm going to break down the things he said. Hey, by the way, salam to Hannah Banana. I didn't see your presence. I know you'll be joining later. Salam to you. Yes, somebody says he has seen this video. He says, I've watched this video, and after that, I start thinking about it. Yes, I'm going to break down what he said. I'm going to break down what he said. Now, pay attention carefully to the things this guy said. And this is why Baba Shuaib is trying to help people to reason, right? Yes, thank you very much, Anwar Tapi. Yeah. Says we are blessed to think out of the Quran and not allow so-called scholars to fool us. Thanks, Baba Shuaib. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Brother Omer Chan, is it Omer Khan? Yes, thanks for on the topic sorcery research. I agree with you. Thank you very much. God bless you, bro. I'm going to give a further breakdown today publicly so people would get to understand the aspect of the sorcery, right? But by the way, let's go with this video. Embrace yourself. You are going to laugh at the things he said in the video, right? You are going to laugh. You'll be wondering if these people are very, very okay. The scholars need to be checked psychologically, mentally. They have to be checked in the brain before they even give public utterances, to be honest. So let's go. Listen.
Sunna ta tabbatar in kaga maciji a gidanka.
He says the Sunnah has actually been reported, or it's a fact from the Sunnah. When they say Sunnah, they are talking about the Hadith books. They are Hadith books. These the scholars. This is where they get their Sunnah from. Because where else can you get it from? Where? BBC or CNN or Al Jazeera? Where? So when you hear the scholars saying Sunnah, they can never get it anywhere except from the Hadith. I repeat, when you hear the scholars saying Sunnah, because they are Sunnis, the Salafi, the Wahhabi, the Istiqama, and so understand. When they mention the Sunnah, they are referencing to the Hadith books, right? So he says the Sunnah has actually, in fact, the Sunnah has actually reported that if you see a snake in your house, listen carefully, if you find a snake in your house, he's going to give you solution on how to, dissolve the issue. Now listen.
Kar ka yi gaggawan kashe shi.
If you find a snake in a house, don't be in a hurry to kill the snake, right? This is a Sunni scholar talking to you. Don't be in a hurry to kill a snake if you find a snake in your house. Listen carefully.
Ka ce masa bawan Allah in kai na kirki ne ka bar gidan nan ba gidan zaman ku bane nan gidan mutane ne.
Then you have to tell the snake that, hey, gentleman, a servant of God. He says, because the snake is also a servant. So a servant of God. This, if you are not a good, animal, hurry up and leave this house, because this house is for human beings, good human beings, and it's not for things like you, right? So hurry up. It means you are talking to the snake. These same people made Umar speak to the stone. You remember when he was speaking to the stone and he says, if not because I saw the prophet kissing you, I would not have kissed you. Then he kissed the snake. He's still talking to the stone. So now again, this scholar is telling you to speak to the snake. Don't kill the snake. Speak to it. Imagine seeing an anaconda or a cobra, or you mentioned the deadliest snakes in the world. You see it in your house. Don't rush to kill it, he said. You have to talk to it. Speak to the snake and tell it that, hey, servant of God, this house belongs to people. So hurry up and leave this house. And don't this is not a house for you. You should talk to the snake. So now listen.
Ka yi masa wa'azi.
And then you should preach to the snake. I wish to see this scholar with a snake in his house. So he said you should preach to the snake. Listen, look, I'm not joking. For people who speak Hausa language, you understand what he's saying. And this is not edited. This is real. He said it.
Hadisi ya zo cikin al-Adab al-Mufrad. Imam
He says this hadith has been narrated in Adab al-Mufrad. And he's going to tell you the Imam who brought this up.
Bukhari ya kawo haka.
He says Imam Bukhari brought it. Adab al-Mufrad. Imam Bukhari narrated it. Okay.
Ko wani abu ka gani kawai a gidanka kamar ka ga kare.
Or if you see any other kind of animal in your house, or for example, if you see a dog, he's saying,
Kawai a cikin gidanka.
if you just see it, spontaneously in your house, which means it doesn't belong to your house, but you just happen to see any animal in your house.
Shi ma kai masa wa'azi ka ce bawan
Then you
Allah ka fita ka bar gidan nan.
Then you should preach to the animal and say, hey, servant of God, hurry up and leave this house. You preach. Don't kill it. Don't fight it. Just preach to the animal. Tell him, hurry up and leave. I wonder if the animal understands Hausa or he understands your language. I wonder. But you have to speak to it, right? He's giving you a good advice from Sahih Bukhari.
A yi masa haka kwana ɗaya kwana biyu uku in ya wuce wannan.
He says you should keep preaching to the animal for 1 day, 2 days, and 3 days. So imagine having a snake in your house. Instead of calling for animal services, to come and take the animal away, you are now going to preach to the animal for 3 days maximum, he said. So the animal is in your house. You have to keep preaching to it. Hey, hurry up and leave my house. This house is for people. It's not for animals like you. Hurry up and leave. So the next day, so you sleep the first day, you have to sleep. Then the next day again, when you wake up, you have to go and preach to the animal in your house. Go and preach to it and say, hey, you have to leave this house, okay? This house is not for you. Then you have to sleep the second day in your bedroom again. Then the third day you wake up, then you go and tell the snake, if it's a snake, imagine an anaconda. Then you go and tell the anaconda, hey, it's the third day, you haven't paid your rent. Hurry up and leave. This house is not for you. Be cool. So now listen.
Nan to shedani ne.
Then if it's up to the third day and this snake or this wild animal has not left your house, that means it's a devil. So that means the animal is a devil. So you have to wait 3 days to find out, okay? You preach to it. You keep preaching to the devil, right? Preach third day. Then if he doesn't leave your house, it's the devil. So now what is the solution on how to drive the devil away from my house? If that animal, after the third day, I find out it's the devil. So what should I do? Listen.
Wani bawan Allah yana gaya mu wata rana.
He says someone was telling me one day, he just left the story aside. He didn't give you the solution on how to drive the devil out of your house after finding out the animal is the devil. He didn't give us any solution. He just jumped from that story. He's now going to tell you a different story. He says, one day someone told me,
Yace abun mamaki a unguwarsu manya-manyan gidaje ne.
He says something mysterious happened in their hood, in their area, and then big houses, mansions of houses in the area.
Masu get.
With big gates. You know the gates, the door, the main gates, right? Big gates.
Yawanci gidajen nan da tile da interlock a gidajen. Yace wata rana kawai ya fito.
There's the big locks and everything, how they lock the houses. So he says one day he came around that area.
Gidansa. A gate din gidansa sai ga wani katon maciji kumur.
He says he was coming to the house and then he saw next to that gate, he saw a big snake.
Chikato. Yace bai taba ganin maciji babba irin wannan ba.
He says he saw a big snake and he has never ever seen a snake like that.
Yana kokarin shiga ta gate ya fita. Yace to ni ko yaya aka yi mu dai ba daji bane da mu anan.
He says he was surprised when he saw the snake. The snake was trying to find its way to enter next to the door, the gate. But he says he's surprised because they don't live in the bush. So how come there's a big snake in the zone he is?
kuma ba wani abu ne da mu da yake zai iya ɓoye maciji ba anan.
So there is nothing that a snake can hide inside, or that a snake can enter and hide itself on that zone. So how come the snake is on this, compound?
Uku a ina daga ina macijin nan yazo?
So where does this snake come from?
To jefo shi aka yi, ni kuma na rufe kofar gidana.
I say, or maybe somebody threw it to us, and he has sealed his house with the gate. So how?
To da yake mai karatu ne, mai ilimi ne, sai masa wa'azi yace ba.
Because this person is a learned person and he's knowledgeable person, so he started preaching to the snake.
Don Allah ka yi haƙuri ka fita daga gidan nan.
Then he says, servant of God, please, you have to leave this house. He's preaching to the big snake.
Kar ka cutar da mu.
Don't come and disturb us here. So please, hurry up and leave this house.
Sai ga macijin nan sadab yana ta nema ta karkashin gate zai iya wucewa.
Then the snake started, finding his way, slithering, trying to find its way and escape and go out of the house.
Kaurinsa ya yi yawa. Sai can ya samu gindin fulawa ɗin nan, irin fulawa ɗin nan, sai ya shiga. Akwai wata hanya sulu.
Then the snake found the flowers, exit where there's flowers. So he entered on the flower side.
Sai ya fita.
Then he went out.
Yana wucewa sai gashi ya tsallaka, ya shiga ta kwata, ya tafi abin sauransu.
Then he says the snake went out and he went to a different quarters, meaning a different zone.
In gada zai je tinkari wannan macijin ya ce zai kashe, wataƙila wani aljanin ne ya yi kansa shi ma.
Had he tried to go and kill the snake, may it be the snake will have been a jinn.
Kashe shi.
Then the jinn will have killed him rather.
God have mercy upon us. God have mercy upon us.
Hey, so, ladies and gentlemen, the Sunni scholar is telling you from today, if you find a snake in your house, don't kill it. Just preach to it for 3 days. He says, first day you preach, second day you preach, and third day you preach. If he doesn't leave your house, it's a devil. But he never gave us the solution. If it is a devil, what should I do? He never gave a solution. So he said, don't try to kill it. May it be it's a jinn. So it will kill you too. So leave it in your house. So it's rather you leave the house for the snake to live rent free. Yeah. Hey, Sunnis. Oh, were you? Yes, Faisal Hussein says, Salam, bro. I love their fairy tales. It's pure mythology. Fabricated fantastic stories that glorify a man or an ideology. They give you fabricated rituals without a source and say, trust me. Exactly. This is what they do. That's exactly what this scholar was doing. It was actually seated, and these people are very prominent in Africa. These people I'm talking about. They are very prominent, right? And it baffles me how the masses actually see some, how will I say? Oh my God. Well, it's okay. Let's leave him on the side. So the advice he gave you, anyone who wants to use the advice, you're welcome. You preach to the snake in your house. It will be helpful. Yeah, thank you very much, Adam Mohammed, for the gifts. I appreciate that. God bless you. Let's go. Okay, so I was asked a question concerning sorcery. When we say sorcery, we are talking about sihir. Like sihir in the Quran, when you see the word sihir, It can mean enchantment, it can mean magic, and it can mean sorcery. That is sihr, right? Sihr. Now, first of all, let me put this on the screen so that I give you the breakdowns concerning the meanings of sihr, right? According to the Quran, let me give you the breakdowns to the meanings so that we delve into the topic for you to understand further what this is about. So we say sihr. We are talking about sorcery, magic, enchantment. That is sihr. Number one, when we say sihr, is the belief in magical spells that harness occult forces or evil spirits to produce unnatural effects in the world. Number two, any act that invokes supernatural powers is also sorcery. Number three, an illusory feat considered magical by naive observers. Number four, a psychological state induced by a magical incantation or a magical spell. These are all categorized as magic, enchantment, or sorcery. So in Arabic, we say sihr, right? We say sihr. So let me delve into the Quran to give you some breakdowns, right? Now, what you need to understand is there are two types of sihr. There's two types of magic. There are two types. So wherever you are, you should understand we have white magic and we have black magic. There's white magic and there's black magic. And so for every learned person out there, whenever you are given two instances of anything, just like we have light and darkness, you understand when something dark is mentioned, you get to know from the allegorical understanding that okay, this is evil and this is light, right? So we have white magic and then we have black magic, but these are names that we people formulated. We gave it the signature, those names, we attributed such names to it in order to differentiate the understandings to it, right? But all are classified magic or sorcery. Both of it are classified or is classified as magic or sorcery or enchantment. They are still the same name given, but they are different instances. So I'll be delving into the Quran to give you the breakdowns as to sorcery. Is it totally haram, or is there any aspect of sorcery which is allowed, or is it totally forbidden by God? We are going to see in the Quran, right? Now let's give you the breakdowns to the instances. So we have white magic. White magic is magic used only for good purposes. When we say white magic, you can never use white magic for evil intention. Never. That is what white magic is about. It is also classified as sorcery, right? I'll give you some example. Just like Musa alayhi salam, what he was doing, his people were classifying him as a sorcerer. But we all know Moses was a good person, doing it for the good cause. When he had the stick became a snake. This is also classified as sorcery, right? So that is why his people were calling him a sorcerer. Like the people who actually later on followed him, they started calling him a sorcerer, right? Now, there are instances where when you use sorcery in the aspect of God, we call it the ayah, which is a wonder, a miracle. Then there are aspects when you use sorcery coming from the devils, we call it what? The evil sorcery. Because that you are dealing with evil spirits. But the one coming from the aspect of God is using, good spirits, meaning spirits from God. You understand? So understand the difference. So then when we say black magic is the belief in magical spells that harness what? Occult forces or evil spirits to produce unnatural effects in the world. So that is what is classified as black magic. So understand these instances. We have black magic and then we have white magic. You can look it up for yourself so that you understand what I'm going to delve into. However, the Quran does not mention the words white magic, neither does it mention the words black magic. The Quran only used one word, which is sihr. But however, you and I know the classification based on the example God has given in the Quran. So understand this. So we are going to go into the Quran to understand the notion of magic in general. Is it totally haram, or is it, a classification as to which one is haram and which one is halal? We are going to find out. Let's go into the Quran. So first of all, I'm going to use examples like, let's go to Quran chapter 52, verse 13 to 16, and let's see what God says, right? So that you get to understand the meaning of the sorcery Quran intends. It has to do with enchantment, right? Okay, let's go to the Quran. I take you to Quran chapter 52, verse 13, and I share the screen. Let me put this here. Chapter 52. Yes, in Quran chapter 52, verse 13, when you read up to verse, let's say, verse 16, this is what it says. It says, the day they are summoned to the fire of hell by invitation, this is the fire which you have been denying. So is this sorcery? Is this sorcery? Or do you not see? Verse 16, bend therein, and it is the same for you, whether patient or impatient. You are only requited for what you have done. So these are the evildoers, where they will end up in. They will end up in the hellfire. But then God is explaining the notion of what they are going to see. So now it says, the day they are summoned to the fire of hell by invitation. This is the fire which you have been denying, because some people say there is no hellfire, that it doesn't exist. Some people will only tell you our worldly life is only on this earth. You find your hell here and you find your paradise here. So no heaven and hell again. You understand? Some people say that. So now that, according to the Quran, now that it will finally happen, or it has finally happened on the day of judgment, these people will now see it. If they are evildoers, then God was asking the question. So this thing you are seeing, is this sorcery? Afa sihirun haza. Afa sihirun haza. This thing you are watching, is it sorcery? So when we say sihir here, we are talking about enchantment, right? So to be under a spell, so that psychologically your mind is creating something that you think it is not real. So this is why when we say people are under a spell, it's like it's like a confusion, a state where you are in. And that is why some people, when they see certain things in reality, they do this to check again, to see if this is a dream or it's actually happening. Now, so God is asking the question, so is this sorcery? Is this enchantment? Is this magic? Is reality that you see on the day of judgment? This is hell with your eyes, right? Or do you not see? Because then the senses will be triggered so that you use your faculty to see what is happening. So then God will tell them, bend therein, and it is the same for you, whether patient or impatient. Whether you are patient or impatient, yes, you are going to face the reality. But now let's go. So this is just to show you that a reality can be shown to you that you might still think this is magic, this is sorcery, even though it's reality, right? But then there's another form of magic, which is to actually put you under a spell, which what you are watching is not actually real, but you are being confused to think it is real. So understand this aspect of magic. And again, I take you to Quran chapter 7, verse 116 to show you the meaning, so that you understand when Quran mentions sihr, what it actually entails. So here in Quran chapter 7, verse 116, if you read the context, it's talking about Musa when he was facing the magicians of Pharaoh, right? So Moses said to the magicians, throw, meaning they should cast their spell, their magic. And when they threw, they enchanted. So the word used there is saharu. Saharu. This saharu, it is they enchanted the eyes. Saharu. Ahyun. Ahyun al-nas. Ahyunan nas. So what they did is they enchanted the eyes of the people. That is, the people watching, they are under a spell. So they cast that spell on the people. So now the people will start to imagine things that is actually not there. Do you see the point here? From the verse I came from, chapter 52, chapter 52, hey, salam, my sister Rashida. From the verse I came from, chapter 52, verse 13, you read up to verse 16. When these people I finally shown the reality of hellfire, God will ask them, is this sorcery? Because that is reality. Now the eyes shouldn't be, any, that's reality. But now when the magicians facing Moses, what they cast down there was actually an enchantment of the people. They enchanted the people. They cast a spell on the people, rather. So then you will start to imagine that this is actually snakes on the floor, on the ground. So what happened is, God says they enchanted the eyes of the people and terrified them and came up with a great sorcery. So do you see what the magicians did when they were facing Moses? So try to read the story pertaining the challenge. The story is full in the Quran. You can read the verses related to the topic. You get to understand what actually transpired. So what these magicians actually did, because they were using evil spirits, they actually cast the spell on the people who are watching, so that the people who are watching will rather be terrified by what they see. It is them who have been enchanted to actually create that psychological state in your mind for you to see what is happening in that reality, even though that magic is not reality. Are you getting my point? Okay. So now, that is another one. So this all comes under what? Sorcery. Okay. So now I'm taking you to Quran chapter 17 verse 47. Now, when you read the context of chapter 17 verse 47, it starts from verse 45, right? Verse 45, coming downwards. Now, coming downwards, it says, we are aware of what they listen to. That is when you are reading the Quran. Let me read the context so that you understand what is being said, right? This is the context. It starts from what 45, right? This is the context. It says, whenever you read the Quran, we place a concealed partition between you and those who do not believe in the hereafter. وَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ جَعَلْنَا بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ حِجَابًا مَسْتُورًا. And we place coverings over their hearts, lest they comprehend it, and deafness in their ears. And when you mention your Lord in the Quran alone, they turn away on their backs in aversion. وَجَعَلْنَا عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ أَكِنَّةً أَنْ يَفْقَهُوهُ وَفِي آذَانِهِمْ وَقْرًا وَإِذَا ذَكَرْتَ رَبَّكَ فِي الْقُرْآنِ وَحْدَهُ وَلَّوْا عَلَى أَدْبَارِهِمْ نُفُورًا. Verse 47. We are aware of what they listen to, because these people hate that when you are reading the Quran alone to them, they don't like it. So they turn away in anger. So God says, we are aware of what they listen to. When they listen to you, when they converse in secret, then the transgressors say you only follow a bewitched man. So God says, Nahnu alamu bima yastami'una ilayka, yastami'una bihi, iz yastami'una ilayka wa izhum najwa, iz yakulu zalimuna in tattabi'una illa rajulan mashura. So here, the rajulan mashura, you can see if we have to trim and take the prefix and the affix out, you are going to get what we call sihir, right? So here is mashura. So somebody who is under a spell, who has a spell cast upon him to actually think of a state he is not actually in. You understand? It's like a confusion state. That's what magical spells, how magical spells cause people to be in. So this is why these people will say you are bewitched, because now you are using the Quran to speak to these people, to tell these people the reality. They look at you because this is not who they know before. So all of a sudden you are speaking from the Quran to them. When they are listening to you, they are seeing you as a bewitched person. They see you as a crazy person. Yes, this is what they told Prophet Muhammad in Quran chapter 44, verse 14. He has been called Mu'allam al-Majnun. He says he's a crazy teacher. You understand? So don't be surprised when the mushriks today, when you speak from the Quran alone and they call you a mad man or a mad woman, or they say you have a jinn, you are possessed. Don't be surprised. It didn't start from you. It started from the times of the Prophet. They've been told, they've been called names. Even Musa alayhi salam, Fir'aun called him Majnun, a madman. You understand? Muhammad alayhi salam, he was called a madman. So calling madman is not a new name. Let them call you madman. So far as you follow the Quran, your role model was called a madman. So if today they are calling you a madman, it's nothing new. Remember, the mushriks in the past did it. This is why when Baba Shuaib called these people mushrik, you think I'm insulting. I'm not insulting them. It's the reality. They repeat what their predecessors have done. You understand? Yeah, thank you. You're welcome, Nur Melanie. Yeah. So Quran chapter 17, verse 47 is giving you the heads up to understand that when people listen to you, they already have a mindset of who they are listening to. When they are watching you, they are listening to you. They are not listening to you. If you like, speak whatever you want from the Quran alone. They are not interested. After you finish all your statement, they say, look, Rajulun Masuhura. This guy is possessed. They say he has a jinn. Are you getting my point? So this is the reality that the Quran gives you, right? Because they think you are under a spell. They think you are crazy. They think you're a madman. So for anybody following the Quran, don't think this is a new thing when your family thinks you are crazy or your family thinks you have a jinn. Seriously, please write for me in the comment section if you have ever been told that statement. Then they think you are possessed. So this is the way mushriks have been programmed in the head. Seriously. They will be very concerned for you. Oh my God, I'm losing my daughter. Oh, I'm losing my son. I think he's possessed. He's starting to say something strange. So to them, the words of God can only come from a madman. Are you getting what I'm saying? This is how they've been programmed. So for those who don't know that Prophet Muhammad was called a madman by his own people, this is the verse. In Quran chapter 44, verse 14, they said, ثُمَّ تَوَلَّوْا عَنْهُ وَقَالُوا مُؤَلَّمٌ مَجْنُونَ. And they turned away from him and said, a crazy teacher. So how can a teacher be crazy? Because if, for instance, if you say Baba Shuaib is crazy, Baba Shuaib is teaching intelligent people out there. People are benefiting from my lectures. And not only that, in my work, where I work, my work side, I'm the supervisor of my workplace. So imagine a madman being a supervisor at where he's working. Hey! And then he's actually doing well at work. Hey, the madman is doing well. Oh. Hey! And this madman can actually be hated by mushriks. And they hate him. Mushriks hate me. Oh. They say, hey, this guy is mad. Why? Because Baba Shuaib is speaking from the Quran, the book of God. So no surprise, Prophet Muhammad was called a madman. So if I'm being called a madman, it's nothing new, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get offended. Do you understand? Don't be offended by what they say at all. You understand? That's why ever since God guided me, no wise person has ever insulted me. No wise person has ever insulted me. So check the list. If you see people insulting Baba Shuaib, check the list very well and see. You will notice there's a problem with the person who is insulting me. Anyways, let's continue. Yes. So now, based on Quran chapter 17, verse 47, you can see clearly how God is giving you the understanding pertaining pertain to being bewitched, right? Based on how people understand what you are saying, they think you are bewitched. Okay, let's go forward. Now, yes. So when we say bewitched, is to be under a spell, meaning a spell has been cast upon you, so you are under a spell. Now, let's take the example of why I said there is white magic and there is black magic. Now, let's take the example of Musa alayhi salam. I take you to Quran chapter 20, verse 57, and I'm going to show you something. If you read Quran chapter 20, Surah Taha, concerning Musa alayhi salam, when he came to the people of Pharaoh. Now, listen to the story. He said, did you come to us to evict us from our land with your sorcery? They were talking to Musa alayhi salam. So if you read the context above, you see that it is about Moses, right? So just to save the time, I don't need to go through all the subjects and everything. You will understand when you take up for yourself to read. You understand the context. So verse 57 said, Pharaoh was telling Musa that he said, did you come to us to evict us from our land with your sorcery, O Moses? Then 58, then we will present you sorcery like it. We will present you magic like it. We will present you enchantment like it. We will present you what? Sorcery like it. So do you see the instance here? That is chapter 20, verse 58. When Musa came to them, remember he had a staff. Moses had a staff with him. If you want to understand what was given to Musa, that is in, if you read Quran chapter 17, verse 101, God says, and we had certainly given Moses nine signs as proofs. So as the children of Israel, when he came to them. And then Pharaoh said to him, oh, Moses, indeed, I think you are bewitched. Right? I think you are bewitched. Because what Moses came with was something of a sorcery-like. So now what Moses did was, Moses had his hand, when he put it in his cloth, it comes out white. Moses had a stick. When he put it on the ground, what happened? Then it becomes a snake. So now this is what they are saying. Then they said, then we will present you sorcery like it. So make an appointment at what? A settled location, which neither we nor you will break. Do you get my point? So now this is what they told Musa alayhi salam. You have to make an appointment because they are willing to present sorcery like what Moses is presenting. So now they want to challenge him, but not knowing that the sorcery they are claiming Musa has is what we today will classify as white magic. White magic, I gave you the definition earlier. White magic is for good purpose, whilst black magic is for evil purposes. So what you see the messengers and the prophets, whatsoever, whatever miracles they brought, today we will classify as white magic. Then the evil ones which harness evil spirits or occultic forces, that is what is classified as black magic. So that is the classification of magic here, sorcery. So when I showed you this verse, Quran chapter 20, verse 57 to 58, you saw what the people of Fir'auna told Musa alayhi salam. They said, then we will present you sorcery like it. Like what Moses brought. Because Moses brought the stick, he put it, it became a snake. He brought his hand, he put in his cloth, he pulls it out, it becomes white. So in the eyes of the people right now, in this 21st century, let me just have this right now. I'll have this. Then you're watching me, then it just becomes a bird. As soon as it becomes a bird, the first thing the viewers will start writing is, this guy is a magician. He just did sorcery. This is what you say. Now, take that back in time, in the time of Isa. Take that back in time, in the time of Musa. Then imagine that happening, that Musa had a stick and he put it down and it became a snake. What is the first word you're going to say? You're going to call him a magician. You're going to call him a sorcerer. Are you getting my point here? Are you getting my point? Aha. So here, when you go to Quran chapter 7, verse 107, so Moses threw his staff and then it became a plain snake. Here, chapter 7, verse 107. When Moses came to them, Pharaoh now said, if you have brought a sign, then produce it, if you should be of the truthful. So Moses, threw his staff, and then it became a plain snake. That is a clear snake. Now, if you have your staff, and now you just threw it to the ground, and it becomes a snake, what is the definition for that thing just happened? We call it sorcery. We call it magic. We call it enchantment. But you have to understand what is the purpose behind what Moses was there to do. Moses was there for a good objective. He is not there to cause any harm. So by our definition today, we will call it white magic. The black magic, remember, is for evil intentions. Whilst when we say white magic, it is something done in the godly aspect. As a miracle, we will call it miracle or wonders. Okay, let's go on. So now, when you read Quran chapter 43, verse 49, I'm building this point, coming to a point. So let me keep building the point so that it can be clear enough for you, because there are people who have lame mind frame and shallow mind frame in understanding this concept, right? Yes. Aha. So in Quran chapter 43, verse 49, and they said, "Oh, you sorcerer." So this is the people of Musa, people of Pharaoh, talking to Musa alayhi salam. And they said, "Oh, you sorcerer." So they were calling Musa Sahir. They are calling him a magician. Do you see the people of Pharaoh? This is how they call Musa. This was when they were facing all what they faced. The tribulations, the tests, the blood, the frogs, the locusts coming on in the city, everything, people facing problems, people going sick. You understand? They were blaming it on Musa, thinking Musa was the one doing all this magic. So then they said, "Oh, you sorcerer, invoke your Lord for us by what he has entrusted to you. Indeed, we will be guided." Then God says, "But when we removed the punishment, then they violated." So this was what the people of Pharaoh did. When Musa finally invoked God and God removed the torment by putting in locust, blood. I give you an example. If you go to Quran chapter 7, verse 133, here. Chapter 7, verse 133. In chapter 7, verse 133, so we sent against them flood. This is flood. Then what? Locusts. And then lice. And frogs. And blood as hinge of signs. But they were arrogant and were a guilty people. So these are the people of Pharaoh when they rebelled against God. You understand? But you saw the name they called Musa in Quran chapter 43, verse 49. They call him a magician, a sorcerer. In Quran chapter 43, verse 49, they said, Oh, you sorcerer. You see, وَقَالُوا يَا أَيُّهَا السَّاهِرُ. Oh, you the sorcerer. Oh, you the magician. Because in their own understanding, just like in today's world, we the people have classified magic, and we have white magic and black magic. Same instance, these people were classifying Musa as a magician. But we, the believers reading the Quran, we know Moses was not an evil magician, regardless of how they will see it. He was a good magician, meaning he was there for a good will, not for an evil purpose. So in today's world, if we want to classify Musa's wonders, we will say that is white magic. Whilst the evil ones are doing is what we call black magic. Understand the difference? Let's go forward. So now we go to Quran chapter 7 verse 132 here. In Quran chapter 7 verse 132, it says, and they said, no matter what sign. So now they use the word sign, which in the Quran we can call a wonder, a miracle. That is the ayah. So no matter what ayah. So they said, no matter what sign you bring us in order to bewitch us. You see the word here. Litasharana. In order to enchant us, in order to bewitch us, in order to cast a spell upon us. This is what it means. But you see, he's bringing a sign, which is a miracle. This is what we call the white magic. He was bringing a sign, which we call a wonder or a miracle. So no matter what sign you, Moses, what miracle, what wonder you are going to bring to us, in order to enchant us, to bewitch us, to cast a spell on us, thereby that we will never be believers. So regardless of him bringing a stick to become a snake, putting his hand, doing blood, making blood come, locust, lice, frogs, whatever, they said, no, we are not going to believe. And they kept their word. Pharaoh did never believed what Moses came to do. He never believed. Now, so let's go to the main issue here. The main question I was asked was based on Quran chapter 2, verse 102. I was asked by two people. So let me break it down. So this is Quran chapter 2, verse 102. It says, and they followed what the devils had recited during the reign of Suleiman. And Suleiman did not disbelieve. Now, pay attention closely. It's Quran chapter 2, verse 102, not 122. The boss cubed is 102. And they followed what the devils had recited during the reign of Solomon. Now remember, God is now going to distinguish the aspect of belief between Solomon and the devils. Now check what God did. And Solomon did not believe. He was not a disbeliever. He did not disbelieve. But the devils who disbelieved taught the people what? Sorcery. So the devils who disbelieved, which are the evil ones, they taught the people sorcery. So in this understanding, we are going to see the notion of black magic. Yes, and then you get to, I could take you back to understand, or you can open on your side to check the meaning of black magic. So the devils who disbelieve are classified as the devils, the evil ones. That's why it's called devil, the evil devils. You understand? Okay. But they, the devils who disbelieve, taught the people sorcery. So they taught the people black magic in this context. Together with what was revealed to the two angels at Babel, Harut and Marut. Remember, apart from the people teaching the people, the devils teaching the people black magic, sorcery, together with what was revealed to the two angels. You see, the ones the angels brought was not black magic. was not the evil one. Are you getting my point? So what Harut and Marut brought down to teach was not evil, but it was the devils who taught the people black magic. And in this context of this verse, we are going to understand the black magic. Then it says, and the two did not teach anyone unless they said, so meaning the two angels, they did not teach anyone unless they said, we are only a trial, a test. So do not disbelieve. But remember, the devils already disbelieve. So the devils who already disbelieve now taught the people the evil aspect, that is black magic. It wasn't the angels who came to teach people black magic. No, the angels never taught the people black magic. It was the devils, the jinns, who now taught people black magic. So God distinguished what the devils taught the people and what the angels brought. So read the verse into context, you understand. I start again. And there the people followed what the devils had recited during the reign of Solomon. So the people followed what the devils recited. Then, and Solomon did not disbelieve. So even though the devils were reciting this black magic to the people, Solomon was not a disbeliever. He didn't take the black magic aspect. This is why if you try to read the history of Karbala, you understand what I'm saying. And Solomon did not disbelieve. But the devils who were working for Solomon, the jinns, not all of them are the devils though, they are the jinn. Jinn, we have Muslims, we have evil ones, right? So the devils who disbelieve taught the people sorcery. So in the context, you are going to see they taught the people black magic. Then it says wa. So the word wa comes in between here. Yu'allimuna nasa sihr. Then it says wama unzila alal malaikaini bibabil haruta wa maharut. Here, so after this, devils taught the people sorcery. Then it says together, or you can say and. So you see, the sorcery, the evil black magic was separated from what was revealed to the two angels. So here, together with what was revealed to the two angels at Babel, then it says Harut and Marut. Now it continues. And the two did not teach anyone unless they said, we are only a trial. It's a test. So do not disbelieve. Because look, the angels already know that the jinns, the devils, already disbelieve in God. So they will now teach the people the evil aspect of this. Then it says, so they learned, the people, they learned from the jinns, what the jinns were teaching the people. They learned from them both, right? Here. So they learned from them both what causes separation between a man and his what? His wife. Do you see here? So they learned from them both what causes separation between a man and his wife. This is black magic, because you have to use black magic for evil purposes, whilst the white magic is for good purpose. So imagine if you're using black magic to separate a man and a woman, what will the good white magic do to bring a man and a woman together? And they cannot harm anyone with it. With what the devils actually taught them, they cannot harm anyone with it except by the permission of God. And they learned what harms them to the people. Instead of learning the good purpose of the magic, the white magic, they now learned black magic. Are you getting this point clearly? So instead of learning white magic, what will benefit them, they now learned what will rather harm them, to cause harm. Because the devil will never teach you anything good. Remember that. Okay. And they learned what harms them and does not benefit them. Then he says, and they certainly know that whoever buys it. Now you see the act of purchasing comes in. People want to buy evil spirit. They want to buy black magic. Do you understand? The people go and buy black magic just to do evil, just to separate a man and a woman, just to cause somebody to fall sick. They cast black magic on people. You can go sick. You never get a cure from the hospital. They cast black magic on people to make them barren. They cast black magic on people so that they can never have a child, like they will have miscarriages. They cast black magic on people to make you to make you poor, to make sure you never get any prosperity on your way. Yes, they do that. And God says they can never harm you except by the permission of God. Remember, the devil, he wanted to mislead people. Whose permission did he seek for? He seek for God's permission. The answer is, did God answer his prayer or not? He answered, but there's an exception. So understand how God gives you the guidance in the Quran. That is why he says, وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. Do not follow the footsteps of the devil. Okay. So now when you read this verse, and they certainly know that whoever buys it, if you go and buy this black magic, will have no positive quality in the hereafter. Because I will explain the point for you that whenever God sends any messenger to go and make wonders or signs and wonders and miracles, they never ask the people for money. They never ask you to pay them before they do a miracle or they do a wonder. And I will give you the instances so that you understand. So he says, and wretched is what they trade their souls for. Check the history. Go and read the history. I give you an assignment. Go and read people who do black magic. A lot of them sell their souls to the devils in order to get these evil powers. Yes. People who do black magic, most of them, they sell their souls to the devils so that the devils will now teach them this evil spirit, evil magic, spells. And then they sell it to the people. So that is why people sell their souls to get certain things from these devils. Do you see the point? So here it says, if only they knew, and wretched is what they sell their souls for, if only they knew. So now let me give you the breakdown. From whatever we have read, is the classification of sorcery straightforward haram? It is based on the perspective, how you understand it. Moses was called a sorcerer. You understand? But based on the aspect of God, meaning his was coming from God. So we would term it as white magic. The other side, if a sorcerer is getting his powers from the devil, what does that become? Black magic. So that is evil. So I'm going to give you the breakdown here. Now check this example. I take you to Quran chapter 34, verse 12 to verse 13. I'm going to read Quran chapter 34, verse 12 to verse 13, right? Check. In Quran chapter 34, verse 12 to 13, it says, and for Solomon was the wind, its coming for a month and its departure for a month. And we caused the flow of a distilled spring for him. And among the jinn were those who worked in front of him by the permission of his Lord. As for one who turned away from our command, among them we will make him taste from the punishment of the inferno. Now verse 13, they made for him whatever he willed. Listen carefully. They made for Suleiman, the jinns, whatever he willed. Of what? Sanctums. They are building sanctums for him. Sanctuaries, right? Statues. For those mushriks who are telling you having a statue in their house is haram, especially the Hadithiyun, they will tell you if you have a statue in your house is haram. They were building statues for Suleiman. If it's haram, start telling Suleiman that it is haram. The bowls of pools. Today we will call it swimming pools, right? They were building all this for Suleiman. as well as anchored kettles. The family of David worked in gratitude, and few of my servants are grateful. So you see what the jinns were doing for Suleiman. It is never haram to deal with the jinns. Remember, if it is haram, God would never let the jinns serve Suleiman, neither will he let them do whatever he wish for them, for him. Do you get my point? If it is haram, there's no way God will let the jinns work for Suleiman. No. What you need to understand is there are different types of jinns. When you read Surah Al-Jinn, chapter 72, you understand. God didn't make you subservient to the jinns. You have to understand God first, then you can control a jinn. If you don't understand God, the jinn is going to control you. So if you go to Quran chapter 72, verse 6, you understand. They will increase you in burden when you go to seek refuge, asylum with them, because you don't know God. Try to know God first, and then yes, you will be in charge. Now, the reason why I brought this verse was to show you what the jinns were doing for Suleiman. They were doing all these things. Was it haram? If it's haram, the question is, why is God allowing the jinns to do all these things for Suleiman? So among the jinns, they are the devils. The devils are the ones teaching people evil spirits. So it means they are the jinns who are the good ones as well, who can now teach people what is good for their benefit. For instance, today we have technology. We have, you are sitting somewhere in the world watching Baba right now. This is based on white magic. If it is not white magic, how on earth can you be in New Zealand? Can you be in Australia? Can you be in United States watching Baba Shuaib right now? You tell me if this is not white magic. Are you getting the point? You want to understand, try to understand the breakdown of what magic is about. Do you get my point? So this is what we call white magic. You have a wireless network. You go to a place that tells you there's a Wi-Fi. What is a Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi. So I can stream, I have internet. Oh, really? Internet? Like how? You understand? It's mind-boggling. This is what sorcery, magic, enchantment is about. Something that makes your mind boggles. Like you're like, how? You understand? So I'm going to give you the breakdown. Remember when the jinn went to bring the throne of the Queen of Sheba? I'm going to put you in that same state. You are going to understand what it's about. Now let's go to Quran chapter 27. In Quran chapter 27, verse 38, try to understand this. In Quran chapter 27, I'm going to read from 38 downwards so that you understand. If working with a jinn is haram, God should have told Suleiman first. If actually good white magic is haram, there is no way Suleiman will have benefited from the white magic of the jinns. Are you getting my point? So I'm going to break down this instance. I'm not talking about black magic. He said, "O you assembly, which of you can bring me her throne, the throne of Queen of Sheba?" Read the context above. You understand the context. "Before they come to me as Muslims, submitters." Verse 39. "The devilish among the jinn." Now you see, God categorized to show us the ifritu. Ifritu mean a jinn. That is the devilish, which has the devilish mind. The devilish among the jinn now said, "I can bring it before you get up." You don't dare command a king to get up. It is against the rules of the monarchy to tell a king to get up. It is totally out of coverage area. For those who understand how kingdoms and monarchy works, go and read that also down to understand. You don't tell a king to get up. So now this devilish jinn was telling Suleiman that I can bring it before you get up from your what? Position. Do you understand? For indeed, I am powerful and trustworthy for it. So that's why God categorized it by showing us the ifritu min al jinn. So this one is the devilish one. Then it continues to verse 40. The one who had knowledge of the book, Al-Kitab, said, I can bring it before your blink, this eye, the blink like this, before your blink draws back to you. And when he, Suleiman, saw it, he saw the throne in front of him, settled before him, he said, this is by the favor of my Lord. Indeed, in order to test me, whether I am grateful or ungrateful. And whoever is grateful, then he is only grateful for himself. And whoever is ungrateful, then what? Then indeed, my Lord is rich and what? Honorable. Now, the reason why I'm reading these verses for you, let me give you breakdown here. Was it not magic the jinns used to go and bring the throne? Ladies and gentlemen, write for me in the comment section. Was it not sorcery? Was it not magic, white magic they used to go and bring the throne of Queen of Sheba? It is more like stealing, but wasn't stealing. He did that in order to teach a lesson to her, because they called her and she came, right? To see her throne. I can complete the story, then you get to know how she got confused when she came. Just like you and I are bamboozled. We become flabbergasted with technology today, with AI, with whatever is happening. Are you getting my point? He sent the jinn to go and bring the throne with a blink of an eye. You tell me. You go and bring somebody's throne with a blink of an eye. If it's not magic, how can you do that? Tell me. How? Tell me, where will you put it? In your pocket? Where? But the jinn went with a blink of an eye to go and bring it. If it is not magic, what is it? Suleiman was using a jinn, and the jinn went to bring it, but it is for a good purpose. That is what we call white magic, because he went to bring the throne, not stealing the throne. He brought it for a purpose, to teach her a lesson on how to understand God. So if you want to tell us that, number one, working with a jinn is haram, start telling Suleiman. Number two, if you want to tell us that white magic is haram, please, I dare you, start telling Suleiman that, hey, Suleiman, magic is haram. Why did you allow the jinns to do magic for you? To go and bring hey, you are going to hell. Yay! White magic. No, it's haram. You are a fool. It means your brain, you need to be checked. The level is low. You need to be brought up. Start to understand perspective. That's why we have white magic. We have black magic. We are not saying you should approach black magic. Black magic is for evil purposes. White magic is something for good purposes, meaning coming from God. It's for godly aspects. Are you getting my point? Okay, let's go again. I'm going to show you another example so that you understand what I'm saying. I'm taking you to Quran chapter 2, verse 67, and I'm going to read up to verse 73. In Quran chapter 2, verse 67, this is what happened. And when Moses said to his people, indeed, God commands you to slaughter a cow. Now, people were asking, why just like that God will command the people of Moses to slaughter a cow? Huh? Hey, Mohammed, I forgot my water. It's true. I've not been drinking my water for a long time. I forgot. Yes, Mohammed, thank you for the reminder. Today is a glass. I forgot my water. Anyways, Quran chapter 2, verse 67. And when Moses said to his people, indeed, God commands you to slaughter a cow, they said, Have you taken us as a joke? He said, I seek refuge with God, that I should be of the ignorant. It continues, verse 68. They said, invoke your Lord. They are telling Musa to invoke his Lord for us, to clarify to us what it is. He said, indeed, he says that it is a cow which is neither old nor what? Virgin. In between, middle-aged. So do what you are commanded. This is a simple command, but these people are so complicated. This is like Hadithiyun. Show me from the Quran how many rakats the Quran asks you to do. Show me. Where does it say you should do 2, 3 rakats? If he doesn't say, why should I do? No, seriously. I don't understand these mushriks. If the Quran doesn't say, why should I do it? You don't understand simplicity? This is the foolishness the people of Musa also did. Simple command. He said you should slaughter a cow. Ask your God, which cow? He says it's neither old nor virgin. In between. Now listen what they are going to do. In between. Listen to what they are going to do to Moses. Now listen. So he says, in between, middle-aged. So do what you are commanded. 69. They said, invoke your Lord for us to clarify to us what her color is. He said, indeed, he says that it is a yellow cow. This is like albino cow. It exists. You can Google it. Out of a lot of cows, it takes one time for such a cow to be given birth. You understand? Based on how we people describe color. When we say yellow cow, doesn't mean yellow. Just like we call a white man, black man. You see, Baba Shuaib, I'm called a black man. But you see, my beard is black. This is black. Me, I'm brown. But it's just a namesake. You use name to tag. Yeah, it's a tag. Just to identify something. But it doesn't necessarily mean I'm black. Are you getting my point? So when we say a yellow cow, it's like an albino type of cow. You can Google it. I give you an assignment. Google what we call albino cow. Yeah, albino or albino type of cow. You see the color. So he says, indeed, he says that it is a yellow cow, which is bright in color, delighting the observers, because it means it stands out. So now God gave them the most difficult assignment. You understand? The most difficult, because before he made it simple. They don't want simplicity, just like the mushriks today. God gave you simple Quran, 114 chapters. They say, the Quran, you cannot follow the Quran alone. Show me where it says you should do 2, 3 rakats. Show me where it says how you should sleep with your wife. These people are the dumbest fools ever. Seriously, can you imagine somebody telling me, he says, if you are going to follow the Quran alone, how will you know how to sleep with your wife? Hey! Hey, these mushriks. Anyways, let's go. So, let me put this wider. I'm sorry for this. Yes, so now they told Moses, they invoke your Lord for us to clarify to us what her color. So Moses gave the answer. Verse 70, they said, invoke your Lord for us, again, to clarify to us what it is. Indeed, the cattle look alike. They say all the cows, they look alike for us. And if God wills, we will be guided. So now, finally, they are asking for the difficult challenge. Okay, so verse 71, he said, indeed, he says that it is a cow which does not docilely agitate in the land, nor irrigate the cultivation. Peaceful without defect. So now God made the assignment more difficult on her. They said, now you have brought the truth. Look at their stupidity. Now they are telling Musa that now you have brought the truth. So they slaughtered it, that is her, and could hardly do it. Because this is what the mushriks, the Hadith use. This is what they want. They want God to make the religion very complicated so that it can be difficult to practice it. Quran chapter 22 verse 78, God says, Huwa ajtabakum wa ma ja'ala alaykum fid din min haraj. He is the one who has chosen you and has not placed any difficulty upon you in the deen. Quran chapter 22 verse 78. God says he never placed any difficulty upon you in Islam. But mushriks, they want it to be difficult. Akhi, you are going to follow the Quran. How do you pray? How do you pray? Where does it say you should do tayyah? How many rakat do you do? Show me from the Quran how many rakat. If you say you are going to follow the Quran, show me how many. Is it? The first question is, how do you pray? Show me in the Quran how many rakat it says you should do. How many rakat? If you are going to follow the Quran, how many rakat? Show me how you do Hajj. Show me how you do your Hajj. Without the Hadith, how do you know how to do Ramadan? Siyam? Show me how to know the holy month. Show me how you sleep with your wife. If you are going to follow the Quran alone, does the Quran show you how to? Oh my God. I never take these people serious. I'm serious. The people say, who said you should preach to a snake? If a snake enters your house, preach to it for 3 days. How can I take such people seriously? You tell me, why will I take such people seriously? For Baba Shuaib, the correctional officer, I put up a serious video slamming Hadith books. Then all of a sudden in the comment section, how do you pray? I dare you, show me how you pray and I'll believe what you are saying. How do you pray? Like, since when did my prayer become your issue? No, seriously. Why should how I pray hinder you or stop you from taking the Quran for your guidance? Please tell the mushriks to read my bio on my profiles. I said I'm not a preacher. I only lecture intelligent people to the truth in Islam, in religion. This is what I do. So I don't need fools on my page. Please, if you are a fool, stay far away. I'm tired of dealing with fools and bozos. I want intelligent people because they'll make life easier. I don't need to repeat myself. So please, if you are a fool, stay far away to make my life easier. Please, biko, biko suru, ofane, me pamocho, Let's continue. Yes. So now God gave them the most difficult assignment to slaughter the cow. Now verse 72. And when you killed someone and deceived about it, and God brought forth what you were concealing. This is what God did using the cow, right? The cow is slaughtered. So we said, strike him with part of it. Part of the cow is slaughtered. Strike the dead with part of the cow. Does God revive the dead and showed you his signs so that you might reason? Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's imagine Musa alayhi salam was in our generation now, and somebody has been killed. And now this person has a secret. We want to know who killed him, but we are struggling. We cannot find the dead. Then all of a sudden, Baba Shuaib appear. Then people will come back to Baba Shuaib. Let's assume, hypothetically, I'm Moses. I'll just come. Then people will say, Baba Shuaib, we want you to call God, and then so that we can know how to wake up this dead person. And then, So now people believing that Musa is a sorcerer, they are now telling him to go to God and then find a solution. So now Musa, me, Baba Shuaib, then I will just come and say, you have to slaughter a cow. And people will say, cow? Why a cow? You slaughter a cow. Then they come, they say, the cow, do you want old or young? Then I say, okay, find the middle age. You go and bring the middle age, and then you ask me again, what color? And I say, okay, bring yellow. Then you go and struggle, you find yellow. Then you ask me, what type of yellow? I said, the one which is not struggling, this who doesn't have any defect. Then you go and bring it. Then I say, okay, finally, you can slaughter it. After you slaughter, and I say, use part of the meat to hit the dead person, and then he wake up. Please, in the definition of this modern world, if you don't define this as magic, white magic, what will it define as? Tell me. In this modern day, what Musa just did with his people, if you don't define it as white magic, what else will you define it to be? Tell me. So the question is, Moses used God to answer their questions in order to wake up the dead person, right? So are you saying God couldn't also do directly that he will make the dead wake up without them doing nothing? God will have done that, right? But God wants to show you the process on how things need to be done for things to happen. This is the process. You can see whatever transpired between Musa and his people was through God. But it has to go through a means of doing some things before something occurs. But it's for a good will. So that is what we call white magic. Because it's like sorcery. You just slaughter an animal, you take part of the animal, you hit the dead body of a dead person, and then he wakes up. That is white magic, because what the dead person is going to confess and tell you whatever happened. Are you getting my point? Or you don't get it yet? Okay, I'm going to show you another example. This has to be with about Joseph in Quran chapter 12, verse 93. In Quran chapter 12, verse 93, this is what the verse says. If you read the context, it is talking about Joseph, Yusuf alayhi salam, right? So Joseph, when his brothers came to him and they told him his father is blind, do you know what Joseph did? He took his shirt. He says, go with this shirt of mine and throw it or thrust it on my father's face. His eyesight will occur and bring me your family all together. Number one, how certain was Joseph that when they throw the shirt on the eyes of his father, who used to be a prophet, that is Jacob, how certain was he that the eyes will open? And why must he contain, why should it be the shirt? Why the shirt before the eyes has to open or have to open? Why? What transpired? His brothers just taking his shirt, taking it home, putting it on the father's eyes. In this modern day, we classify that as white magic. Yes, that is white magic. Look, read the instance of what happened. Joseph didn't say, when you go, take this shirt of mine, before you put it on the eyes of my father, I want you to say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, recite this Quranic verse or something. He never said that. He says, go with this shirt of mine and throw it, that is, thrust it on my father's face. His sight will occur and bring me your family. They did that and the eyes of the father opened. In this modern day, we'll classify this as white magic. Or some people will call Joseph as a sorcerer. They will say this is sorcery. But you need to understand from the perspective of God. We call it miracle, wonders. Are you getting my point? This is not black magic. Are you getting my point? Because it's not for an evil purpose. This is for a godly purpose and a good purpose. So that is white magic. Are you getting my point? Okay. So the last one I'm going to give you is concerning Isa alayhi salam. That is Jesus, right? Somebody, Unir says, if we apply this today, it is easy to solve a crime. The question is, can we be like Moses alayhi salam? That is a good question. That is a very good question. I think the crime this thing the crime bureau, they need this type of White magic. So the last one has to do with Isa alayhi salam, which is Jesus. Let's take Isa alayhi salam. So we go to Quran chapter 5, verse 110. Yes, yeah, salam, brother Ismail. I see you. Thank you very much. Yeah, God bless you, brother. Yeah, thank you, Sister Diana. Yes, thank you. Hey, Waya, thank you. So the last verse I'm going to has to do with Isa alayhi salam. So this is what God said in Quran chapter 5, verse 110. Check what God said concerning Isa. I want you to understand something here. What Baba Shuaib is teaching people today, I'm not telling you black magic is a good thing. That's not what I'm here to tell you. I'm not saying black sorcery, black magic is good. I'm actually differentiating between what we call white sorcery and black sorcery. That is black magic and white magic, but they all fall under the same umbrella, but they are different. They are not classified as the same thing. You understand? They might have the same name. Just like in Arabic, you use the word abdi or abid. Abdi can mean a slave and can mean a servant. It's the same word, but it can mean a servant and it can mean a slave. When you check it in the context of the Quran, there are instances where it can mean a slave. Then there are instances where it can mean a servant. So it is servant. We are servants of God. We are not the slaves of God because we have free will. You understand? A slave does not have a free will, but it is the same word you can use, abdi. This word abdi means a servant. Abdi means a slave. Again, understand? So when we say sihir, we are talking about sorcery, magic, enchantment. But in the classification of magic, we have black magic and we have white magic. If in the eyes of the people don't usually know the difference unless God classifies the difference for you. You can know it if this one is coming from godly aspect, that is what we call white magic. If this one comes from the evil spirits, that is what we call black magic. So understand the difference. I know some foolish people out there who have low IQ. We might think, oh, Baba Shuaib is saying we should follow magic, we should follow magicians, sorcerers, and so on. I know foolish people listening to Baba Shuaib sometimes, and this is how they think. Quran chapter 5, verse 110. Then God will say, "Oh Jesus, son of Maryam, remember my blessing upon you and upon your female parent, that is your mother. When I supported you with the Holy Spirit, you spoke to the people in the cradle as well as in middle age. And when I taught you the book, the wisdom, the Torah, and the gospel, and you created from clay like the form of a bed, not a bed, like the form of a bed." Now, this is sometimes where people don't understand this. They think God was saying that Isa created bed. No, he created like the form of a bed, not a bed. If I say this phone is like iPhone, it doesn't mean this phone is iPhone. Are you getting this logic here? So what God made Isa did was, he made him created from clay like the form of a bed. With my permission. He didn't create a bed. He created like the form of a bed. With my permission, then you blew into it and it became a bed. With my permission. Are you seeing what is going on here? So now in the clay, Isa made the form like a bed. Then he blew into it by the permission of God. Then it became what? It became a bed. Now, what you are looking here is, if Isa right now in this world does the same thing, people will say he's a sorcerer. they will say he's doing sorcery. He's a sorcerer. He's a magician. Are you getting my point? But this is white magic, again, because it has a purpose. Because you want to call people to salvation. That's why all these things happen. So now I'm reading the verse. Then he says, with my permission, and you healed the blind. Now somebody's eyes are sealed. They are blind. And Isa was able to heal the eyes of the blind man. In today's world, we call it sorcery. Again, imagine Baba Shuaib just going out there and touching the blind man's eyes like this. And then he just opened. How do you say, hey, this guy is a magician. He's a sorcerer. Okay. Then again, and when you brought forth the dead, listen, and when you, Isa, brought forth the dead with my permission. Somebody was dead. Isa alayhi salam woke him up from the dead by the permission of who? God. Then he says, and when I restrained the children of Israel from you, when you brought them the proofs, and those who disbelieve among them said, this is only a clear sorcery. Sihirun mubin. Do you understand? What the people didn't know is there's a different aspect of the sorcery. He was doing white magic. They thought he was doing black magic. This is the difference. So when you're dealing with people, try to understand perspectives. People are seeing things from their own perspective and they have the name to tag it, whatever you are doing. Right? So this is why I'm giving the classification of white magic and black magic. Yes, white magic exists and it's never a bad thing. It's never haram to do white magic. Right? So far as it involves God, not evil spirits, it involves God, then it's good. If it involves the devils, then beware. You know where they are heading you to, right? Evil spirit, evil, dark, black magic. You know what they are going to do to you. But if it involves God, yes, nothing wrong with that. For a good will, good purpose, nothing wrong with that. Are you getting my point? Don't let people with shallow mind just confuse the narrative and tell you this guy is telling you go and do magic, go and do... No, I'm not talking to fools here. Talking to grown ass people, mature people in the head. I gave you the evidences, I gave you the classifications. Work it out, work the math, do the math for yourself and understand the point here. You understand? Whatever the prophets and the messengers did in our modern world, we will classify that as white magic because we know it's for a good purpose in the aspect of God. You understand? The ones coming from the evil aspect, that is what we call black magic. So understand this point. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the time for question and answer. What did I miss? Yeah, thank you very much, Hamzat Fulus. So let's see here. Okay, let me put my phone number for those who want to call and ask their questions. But the phone number is on the page. If you're willing to call to ask your question, you're welcome. You can call. For those who don't understand the points I hit up on, kindly rewatch the program. It will be replayed live on Facebook and YouTube. Again, you can start from the beginning so you understand the context of whatever I said, so that you don't take me out of context, right? Because this is what happens when people with a low IQ listen to a learned person speaking. They think, oh no, this is out of everything. So listen to me carefully, then you get to. The phone number is on the page. If you want to call, you're welcome to call and ask your question. I'll be going to TikTok soon. Maybe in less than 30 minutes, I'll be jumping to TikTok. If you're willing to join me on TikTok too, you're welcome. But however, I'll be tolerating some questions before I go to TikTok. Yeah, thank you very much, Kubada. Kubada, thank you for the support from TikTok. Thank you. Yes, Sister Khadija. Yes, Mom. Salam to you. Long time. Sorry, it's been a while. I've not gotten the chance to get back to you. I apologize. And again, let me make this announcement. For all the people who sent me messages from, I think, from last week to this week on my WhatsApp number, the correctional officer number, this number on the page, I actually updated my phone to a new phone. And what happened is I lost the update of those messages. Whoever sent me message from last week, I apologize if I'm not able to read your message or see your message. I lost all the messages from last week coming into this week. So please, if you have sent me a question and I wasn't able to get back to you, kindly send me back the question so that I can answer you. Momade Pedro asked me a question concerning Yajuj and Majuj, right? Let me give this instance of breaking it down. Normally, yeah. Let me see. What did I miss here? Yeah. I was trying to add something here, but some of the updates here is missing. Now, when you read Quran chapter 18, verse 94, right? If you start the context from verse 83, coming down, it's talking about Zulkarnain. You can say Zulkarnain or Zalkarnain. It's talking about Zalkarnain concerning his traveling on earth. If you go to verse 94, it says, they said, "O possessor of the two horns." This is just a literal meaning of the, you can say the possessor of two generations or two horns, just to get the idea of the entity being spoken about. Then these people told this possessor of the two horns that indeed, Yajuj and Majuj, that is the Gog and Magog, are corruptors on earth. So this is the symbol. This is the definition of Yajuj and Majuj. This is what they represent. Is a signature of identifying a particular incident of what certain entities cause during a lifetime. So these people were telling Zulkarnain that indeed Yajuj and Majuj are corruptors on earth. So can we allocate an expenditure to you in order to make a dam, like to cover, with a partition, a dam, obstruction between us and them? Now, what I want you to see here is, you see, Yajuj and Majuj, if they are only two entities, examine this verse carefully. Assuming if they are only two entities, real entities like human beings, two entities, check the verse. In the verse, at the end of the Arabic language here, he says, "Ala an taj'ala baynana wa baynahum sadda." This baynahum, it could have been baynahuma. If they were actually entities, like two entities, like one entity, two entity, it would have said baynahuma. But it says baynahum. So it is talking about a group of people as a definition, as a how will I say, identity, something you get to identity, a group of people at every time, in every timeline, who cause corruption on earth. So it is not just talking about just two people. This is Yajuj and Majuj, and they say they are brothers, and then they say these two people, they corrupt. No. It's a signature of, it's a tag name given to certain group of people in every timeline that cause corruption on earth. So I'm going to give you the breakdown concerning Yajuj and Majuj so that you understand. This verse gives you a clue. Assuming if they were only two entities, like human beings, like two entities, let's say Donald Trump and what is the name of this president? Donald Trump and Joe Biden. You understand? Assuming if they were two like that, then this verse will have given you the clue by saying taj'ala baynana or baynahuma. Do you understand? But it is not baynahuma. So he says baynahum. So he tells you it's a large group. The Gog and Magog is just an identity. So that you know that when the time comes, this is what is happening. Salam, Sal. Salam, Sister Bina, I see you. Yes, Sister Bina, I just announced that whoever sent me a message from last week that I couldn't answer, I've lost all the updates on my phone. Kindly resend me your questions again on my phone, my WhatsApp number, so I can recheck your questions. I did an update, so I missed a lot of the questions being asked from last week coming down. So Yajuj and Majuj, the clue has been given in Quran chapter 18 verse 94 that Bainahum is a group of people who cause corruption on earth. You understand? It's not just two entities like this, two people. Now God, then you say this is Yajuj and Majuj, like the Hadith use will tell you they are brothers, they are sisters. Hey, no, it's a lie. It's a lie. Okay, so the next evidence is, let me take you to Quran chapter 21 verse 95, right? Concerning understanding how to identify Yajuj and Majuj, they are the corrupters on earth. They cause corruption wherever they are. Whenever you go to any country, any city, any place, and you see corruption, and people who are doing corruption, it means Yajuj and Majuj are there. That is the signature. That is how to identify Gog and Magog, people of corruption. Quran chapter 21 verse 95. And it is forbidden for a town, listen carefully, a town, Qaryatin, which we have annihilated. Because remember, God only destroys cities or towns based on corruption. If they are corrupted and there is this mutrafiha, meaning the rich ones among them causing facade, God always destroys such a city or town. Yes. So God says, and it is forbidden for a town which we have annihilated that they should not return. It is forbidden. Until when Gog and Magog have been opened. Do you see? Have been opened. And they will procreate. Now, God says they. He didn't say two of them. He didn't say huma. He says whom. Are you getting my point here? From Quran chapter 18 verse 94, it never says bainana wa bainahuma. It's not talking about two people. And in Quran chapter 21 verse 96, it says wahum. It didn't say wahuma. It's not two people. It is an identity this given to these corruptors on earth. This is Gog and Magog. Whenever you go to any city or town and you find corruption, that is the identity, which means you know the signature that Yajuj and Majuj are here. Are you getting my point? Their signature, their identity is corruption. This is what Yajuj and Majuj is about. So until when Yajuj and Majuj, Gog and Magog, have been opened, and they will procreate from every acclivity, meaning from every hill, every mountain, they will come to, the corruption will be everywhere. Do you understand? And the true promise will approach, meaning corruption will be widespread all over. Like today, how we are seeing corruption everywhere. Corruption is everywhere. UK, France, you mentioned it. Corruption is everywhere. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Dubai, Africa, Ghana, China, corruption everywhere. You understand? You know the signature of what? Yajuj and Majuj. And then God says 97, and the true promise will approach, and it is when the eyesight of those who disbelieved will be fixed. Oh, woe to us! We have been in heedlessness from this. In fact, we were transgressors. They will now see the reality of the corruption all over them happening. They will tell you now you are a he, you can become a she. I identify as a transgender. I identify as a transparent. I identify as a car. I identify, from now on, I identify as Moses. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that from now on, Baba Shuaib, I identify as Moses. I'm Moses. So you can call me the magician. So this is what Yajuj and Majuj are causing. Corruption all over. Everything is messed up. They are trying to, encourage to become transgender. A man becomes a woman becomes a man. They are trying to even legalize pedophilia. They are trying to legalize all the most abominable things you can ever imagine. That is Yajuj and Majuj. Whenever you see that such corruption happening, that means the time is approaching. The end of time is near. Corruption will be all over. In churches, in mosques, you go everywhere. The department, you think they are holy, holy, holy. No, there's nothing holy. On this earth, nobody's holy. No. Nobody. No. Nobody. I'm serious. So forget about, this is what Yajuj and Majuj are about. Corruption. Whenever you see corruptions happening, this is the signature of Gog and Magog. Are you getting my point? So very soon they are trying to make it that pedophilia is legal, that an old man can sleep with a 6-year-old girl, just like they did in the Hadith books again. They want to repeat it again. And very soon they are trying to make it legal. I'm not joking. This is a serious issue. This is what Gog and Magog is about. And try to understand this. Look, if you are encouraging such madness to actually be promoted, let me tell you what you are missing. In Quran chapter 7, verse 156, this is what God says. He says, and do not corrupt on earth after its reformation, and invoke him in fear and ambition. Indeed, the mercy of God is near for those who are good doers, that is benevolent. The mercy of God is never near to the corrupters. People who do corruption, the mercy of God is far away from you. When we say corruption, God has made a man and a woman. Corruption is when you try to let a woman become a man and you make a man become a woman. That is corruption. Corruption is when you're trying to legalize stupidity, madness. That is corruption. Corruption is when you are trying to let the people think wayward instead of straight way. That is corruption. Lack of honesty, integrity. You understand? Lack of truth in the society. That is corruption. So it's full of corruption everywhere. That is the sign of Gog and Magog. That is Yajuj and Majuj. So understand that. Yeah. Exactly. Ibu. Gog and Magog is they, them, they. The ones who say identify as them and they, that is Gog and Magog. So keep that in your mind. They say identify as transparent. I was watching a video. I don't remember the title of the video, where the guy said he identify as a train. So from now on, he identify as a train. Hey, what kind of generation is this? Oh my God. Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, the question time is still open. If I miss any question, please let me see. Zenad says, who are the people of elephant mentioned in Surah Al-Fil? Can you please explain it? Fil is just a definition of a particular type of people which God explains into the context concerning what he did to them. But the hadith used will say they are the people guarding Mecca and so on. No, it's just a signature of the name, the identity of that people giving that name, but it doesn't mean they are the people of the camp. How will I say, elephants riding elephants? No. What am I missing? Ladies and gentlemen, I've done 2 hours, 10 minutes. If there's no more question, I'm going to TikTok very right any moment from now. You can join me on TikTok. Let me continue. If you have any questions to ask, somebody says, can you explain 3350, please? Was only the prophet allowed to marry daughters of his lateral uncle, and why? Okay, this question is interesting. Let me answer this question. I think this is a question I've tackled in one of my videos. It's called Marriage and Divorce. I think I tackled this particular one, but let me tackle this before I go, right? Bardic Reels. Your question is a bit broad. It's a bit broad. This is something I have to tackle in a different means. I cannot use small time to explain this question, Bardic. But however, let me tackle Chris 2953's question, right? So I put on the screen Quran chapter 33 verse 50. Here it says, "O you prophet, indeed we have made lawful to you your wives whom you have given their fees, as well as those your right hand possesses, from what God has awarded to you, and the daughters of your paternal uncle, the daughters of your paternal aunt, the daughters of your maternal uncle, the daughters of your maternal aunt, who emigrated with you, as well as a believing woman if she presents herself to the prophet, if the prophet intends to marry her." Listen carefully. That is, if she presents herself to the prophet, right? If the prophet intends to marry her, meaning when she presents herself for marriage, yes, exclusively for you. Now, this is concerning his family members, right? So these family members, he is the only one supposed to marry them. After he marries them, if he has decided to marry, nobody can marry after him, his wives. So I'm going to another context where you understand why God says exclusively for him. So then he says, for you other than the believers, meaning his wives, whichever wife he marry in this category, nobody else can marry them. No believer after him can marry this category he has been given, right? So that is why he says exclusively. But sometimes people don't understand why God said khalisatan, meaning exclusively. Why? Is it only for the prophet to marry from his family? No, I'm going to explain to you. So we have certainly made known what we have obligated for them concerning their wives and those their right hands possessed, meaning their oath possesses, right? So that it will not become guilt upon you, the prophet, and God is forgiving and merciful. Now, the reason why God says exclusively for him, meaning if in case he marry the daughters of his aunt or uncle and so on, after him, nobody can marry them again. So I'm going to give you the example. When you read from Quran chapter 33, you read up to verse 53. In verse 53, God is going to explain that instance, why he says it's exclusively for him. So God says, "Oh, you who believe, do not enter the houses of the prophet unless you have permission for a meal, without waiting in patience, unless when you are invited, then enter. And when you have eaten, then disperse. And do not socialize for hadith, discussion." Then he says, "And do not socialize for discuss. Indeed, that is offending the prophet, and he is ashamed of you. But God is not ashamed of you of the truth. And when you ask them for something, then ask them behind a partition, hijab." Then he says, "That is purer for your hearts and their hearts. And it is not for you to offend the messenger of God, nor to marry his wives after him, ever." Are you getting the point? Ever. But you, Baba Shuaib, when you marry and then you die, somebody is going to marry your wife. You, the one watching me right now, you. If you marry and you die, your wife, somebody will marry you. But for the prophet, it's there's an obligation for the wives to stay away from remarrying, because then the secret, everything about the prophet will go. So that's why he says khalisatan, exclusively for him, because the wives of the prophets are like mothers to the believers. Are you getting the point? So that is why God made it exclusively, because you will not go and marry your mother. Are you getting my point? It is forbidden for God for you to marry your mother. So the wives of the prophets, they are more like mothers to the believers. So now why will the believer go and marry his mother? Are you getting my point? Aha. So this is why it was made exclusively for him when he decides to marry any of his family member or any woman he marries. That is exclusively for him. It cannot be for anybody else. So even if he dies, nobody can marry his wives after him. So that was the reason why God explains like that. But concerning believers, we can also marry the daughters of our aunts if we want. So here, if you go to Quran chapter 4, let's say chapter 4, we start from verse 23, right? Chapter 4, verse 23. So God is going to show you the categories of women you cannot marry. He says, unlawful to you are your mothers, number 1, forbidden. Your daughters, forbidden. Your sisters, forbidden. Your paternal aunts, your maternal aunts, your daughters of your brother, the daughters of your sister, your mothers who nurtured you, your sisters, and from breastfeeding, the mothers of your women, your foster children who are under your guardianship from your women, whom you have entered into them, meaning you have copulated with them. But if you have not copulated, meaning entered into them, then there is no blame on you, as well as the wives of your sons, those from your loins, those you actually biologically give the birth to them. You don't have to marry them, the wives. And to combine 2 sisters at the same time is forbidden, meaning you marry 2 sisters at the same time. No, it's forbidden, except what has already preceded. So if it has already happened, that is in the past. Indeed, God is forgiving and merciful. So this is the categorization for the believers. Then it continues. And the married among the women. So a woman who has already been fortified, meaning married by somebody, you don't have to go and marry again. It's forbidden for you. Except those your right hands possess. Those your right hand possess, then you can marry. As a decree of God to you. You understand? So the context starts from above. It says unlawful to you. So it goes, then it comes down. Then it says, and lawful for you is what is beyond that. To seek chaste women with your wealth, not as fornicators, and whomever you relish among them with it, then give them their fees as an obligation. And there is no blame on you concerning what you have agreed thereby after the obligation. Indeed, God is omniscient and wise. So I hope you get the point now, right? So that's the answer to your question, right? Thank you very much, Ibu, for the gift. I appreciate that. God bless you. Yes, Hannah Banana, I see you. Salam to you. Yes, no Dajjal in the Quran. There is no Dajjal in the Quran. There is no killing of swine from Isa. There is no Mahdi in the Quran. It is not a Quranic thing. It's not coming from God. Right? It is the devils lying to you about all this. No Dajjal, no Mahdi, no whatever they are, all the gibberish they are telling is not from God. Rachel Green says, someone wants to know how to cure being bewitched. Being bewitched, God gave us this verse. Let me show you that verse. There's a verse in Quran chapter 23, verse 97 to 98. This is a supplication one must be using frequently. If only they are believers in God. If you actually believe in God, you have to be using this frequently for protection. Because being bewitched, people use evil spells through the devils, through the jinns, to use the evil spell. So you have to understand how to call on God sincerely for him to intervene, right? So this is what it says. It says, say, Kul, Rabbi a'udhu bika min hamazati shayatin wa a'udhu bika Rabbi an yadurun. It says, say, Lord, I seek protection with you against the temptations of the devils, and I seek protection with you, Lord, lest they attend to me. So in this dua, in this supplication, Quran chapter 23, verse 97 to 98, you are not only seeking protection with God against the temptations of the devil, you are also seeking protection that they don't come next to you. Because this is what the evil spirits do, the jinns, the devils. It's either they are trying to, put you under a spell, or to come next to you, to confuse whatever is around you. So you call on God to seek the protection against them. You understand? Only God can protect you against the evil spirit. Remember, when I read Quran chapter 2, verse 102, those who are using the black magic to separate a man and a woman, they can never do that unless by the permission of God. Do you remember what the verse says? They can only harm you by the permission of God. So now if you're calling on God for protection, why will he give them permission to harm you? You understand? These things happen to people because of lack of faith. Your spiritual aspect of God is not that strong. This is why things like that can attack you. Try to build up your faith with God. You understand? Strengthen those aspects so that you can find protections against them. Only God can protect you. That is why we seek refuge with God against that cursed devil, right? So if you have refuge with God, such things cannot approach you. That's why God gave us the supplication. Call on God and he will be there. Quran chapter 40 verse 60, it says, Adu'uni astajib lakum. It says, invoke me and I will respond to you. Right? So you invoke God for protection. Quran chapter 23 verse 97 to 98. That is where you find the dua. Chapter 23 verse 97 to 98. You can write it down. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to TikTok now. Time is up. For those I'm not able to answer your questions, I apologize, but I'm going to TikTok. You can join me so that we can further continue. I don't want to stay here too much. The time will be excessive. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Baba Shuaib, the correctional officer, bringing this topic to an end till we meet again next week. If you want to enjoy the show, kindly join me on TikTok. I'll be there for a while before I go. So kindly join me there so that we can see if the mushriks have something to offer. So I play you one video of mine before I go. So till we meet again next week, stay blessed. Thank you. Salam. These same Hadith people, look, the books are full of gibberish. Nothing is sensible in those books. Now somebody says, but we can get some truth in there. It's nothing that will put you to paradise from the Hadith books. Nothing. Because that means you are telling me the Quran is not sufficient for your guidance. On the day of judgment, which book will the prophet or the messenger say that people have abandoned? Was it not the Quran? Quran chapter 25 verse 30. قَالَ رَسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّا قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. He who said my people have abandoned the Quran. He never said they abandoned Sunnah or Hadith or anything. They abandoned the Quran because that is the book God is going to use to judge you. So why waste your time with garbage books which the prophet never knew of? People are assigning these books to honorable man, and you are foolishly sitting somewhere in Ghana or Nigeria and saying that, wallahi, if you don't believe in our garbage books, you are a kafir. Oh, no problem. I'm a kafir. Let your book make me kafir 1,000 times. I accept. Is it by force? Remember, I'm the correctional officer. Don't forget that.